All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who teach and rule well, peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful like Akim, the brothers pushing this word with truth and sincerity. And Shalom to the house of David, the elect of Israel. All right, the men, women, and children listening and learning. And this includes so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. All right, you are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, including the speckled bird, the Israelite foreigner, who throughout Israel being scattered to the ends of the world, all right, took on physical features such of the heathen nations. All right, but their father's line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Salvation is for you and you alone. This is the brother Karataza from Men of Valor Las Vegas Camp. This lesson today is going to be entitled "Sick and Tired of Being Sick and Tired." All right. Because here in Babylon the Great, or better known as today as America, all right, we're seeing this economic system crash right before our eyes. People, all right, are in a depressed spirit because they can't afford nothing. They're working long hours. They have a broken spirit here in Babylon the Great. And this even includes the heathen nations. Okay. So look, I advise, I'm not going to play this video, but there's many videos. This is a TikTok trend, pretty much. And there's multiple videos like this, of these TikTok, compilations, all right? And people just ranting and expressing how depressed they are, and because their future is so unbright. And the majority of them, if you look, is a so-called white man, all right, and women known as the Edomites in the Bible. Okay, these curses are plaguing their own people. All right, but there's other videos, and each video has about a 30-minute compilation. So there's a depressed spirit, a broken spirit here in Babylon. All right, which Babylon in the Hebrew just means confused. Babel, all right, meaning confused. This is the city of confusion. All right, but the good thing is that these are the signs. These are signs that the end is near. Okay, this is gonna be just like you. Yeah. Second Esdras 16 and 17. All right, and it reads, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? And the prophet Esdras, all right, was looking at these plagues through the vision that the angel gave him, Uriel, and looking at that vision, right, of this destruction, all right, which includes, famine, earthquake, everything spoken about in the 15th and 16th chapter, this second Esdras, 15, 16, 6, 9, all right. He's looking at his visions and saying, how am I going to survive this time? Hey, this also shows that Esdras is back here today, all right? Because he said, who will deliver me in those days? Now, if he didn't know about reincarnation, why would he talk about that? Why would he talk about him actually being there? Okay. Another one. All right. Verse 18, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death. And this is what everything's building up for. This inflation rate that's skyrocketed. All right, and people are finally catching on that, hey, these things that the prophets have been speaking about are actually coming to pass, and that we're headed towards a famine. It's becoming clearer day by day. All right. And you didn't prepare when we told you to. Well, you still got a little bit of time to prepare, but it comes at a greater cost. All right. And ultimately, we don't invest in worldly things as much as we need to invest in Yahweh Shemel Shai. All right. The majority of people invest too much, those preppers, they in the spirit of prepping, thinking they could deliver themselves. All right. The only one that can deliver us, all right, is going to be the Yahweh Shai and the Elohim. All right. And only the 1/3 of Israel is going to be delivered in these days. Everybody else is going to suffer. Okay. It says the beginning of wars and powers, and the powers shall stand in fear. All right. Who the powers being the powers that are the powers of this earth. Okay. Even the mighty man, they're going to travail like a woman. All right. But the powers, why Esau, Edom, the powers that Yahweh Shemel Shai placed over us, for this captivity in this time period, they're going to be in fear. Why? Because they know their time is up. The beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils come? And it says, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But all these things that they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor always mindful of the scourges. So, our people, all right, the Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino, and Native Americans, they see this, but then they don't repent. They still don't repent. All right, they see these prophecies come to pass, but then they Yahweh Shemel Shai put that spirit on them, Sagia, to stay in the congregation of the dead, to still be blinded. All right. Behold, verse 21, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, and that they shall think themselves to be in a good case, and even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So right now, we're in a time of people seeing and not knowing what's going on. Why? Because they still believe in Babylon. They still believe they can make it out, that, hey, America's going to bounce back, build back better, all right? That Trump's going to come back in office and make America great again, right? But guess what? That ain't gonna happen, all right? And people's spirit is being broken day by day. Isaiah 24:4, the earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, all right? This system's coming to an end. The haughty people of the earth do languish. Now let's go and get that word haughty real quick, all right? Because it's going to be the pride. Those pride, and this starts so-called white man Esau Edom, and then all you 2/3 that follow in his footsteps. All right, all you John 8:44, wicked Israelites. See, height, elevation, elevated place. Who has the nobles of nobles? All right, and who's the nobles of the word of this world? All right, so-called Edom. Esau Edom, the so-called white man. All right, starting with the wicked elites, the banking families. All right. Because they're so wicked that they even destroy their own people. They don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about this world. All right. It says the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. You wicked people, man. And then as Sirach the 10th chapter says, as the king be, so is his people. Okay. So our people are wicked under his rulership. They're all what? Sexual deviants and effeminate men, manly women, Pedialites, so on and so forth. All right, transgressors of the laws, because they have transgressed the law, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, and I can make another I can make another lesson on how Esau Edom itself is, you know, against the ways and the laws of Yahweh Bashim Shai. They were made that way. All right, let's drop down. It's going to be Isaiah 24, and we're going to start at 10. The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. All right, the city of confusion, Babylon the Great, is being broken down. All right, there is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened, and the mirth of the land is gone. All right, so Yahweh Shem Shai has took the mirth away. All right, what does Ecclesiastes say? It's better to be in the a spirit of mourning than a spirit of mirth. That's why we prophesy in sackcloth. Sackcloth's going into mourning. Okay, this ain't our time to shine. This ain't Israel. This ain't our time to, to party. Live your best life. Okay, and this ain't only applying to us. All right, now this world's so effed up. Esau has done such a great job of, raising the prices and using his tactics. Okay, to make sure of an economic collapse. Hey, all the people are suffering, and that's another one I forgot to grab, and we're gonna grab it right now. All right, everybody's suffering, and it's not just Israelites who it's mainly intended for. All right, because this is all part of his trap. All right, a trap to make people go into that NWO. Proverbs 29:2, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And the wicked are on rulership, and you can see it. Just go outside and see the countenance of people, all right, of their faces. You can see that they're in a state of desperation. There's more homeless people on the streets than ever before, all right? Matthew 24:12, and it's only going to get worse. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's right. That's what we're seeing. It's going to force, this desperate times calls for desperate measures. If you ever heard that saying, 2 Esdras 15:19. I'm just going to flow through the spirit, and go, kind of click through these. 2 Esdras 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, when that desperation set in, all right, people are going to do reckless things. All right, they're going to not act with a sound mind. They're going to act with their animalistic instinct. And if you fall in the case of them, if you fall in the case of that, hey, that's going to lead to bad decisions. Yahweh Hashem Yahushua is going to place a lot of judgment, all right, here in this world. It's going to be all out chaos. Okay, order ab chaos. This is what this devil pushes for. Revelation 6:6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Now, a penny goes back into the denarius, denarion, all right? And that was a day's pay back in ancient Rome. And we don't get it in the etymology. The Strong's says a Roman silver coin in New Testament time. It took its name from being equal to 10 asses, a number after 217 BC, increased to 16. All right, it was the principal silver coin of Roman Empire. From the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, it seemed that a denarius was then an ordinary pay for a day's wages. All right, and you need to do a little bit more research on it yourself, Akim. All right, as you've seen, the apostles, go into this before. But think of a loaf of bread being a day's wage, $200, $250. Is a normal, I guess, be salary. A good, you doing okay, and that's what these people are saying. All right, they working, getting paid better than they ever have before, but inflation is so bad, they're actually doing worse than before. Yeah, a lot of people are making that money, but still barely being above water, or barely being able to pay the rent, barely being able to pay rent, pay all their bills, and feed themselves. Okay, and they can't have no extra time. All right, no extra fun time. All right, and that's what this devil wants, is doing, because he's trying to what? He's trying to weed you out to take that basic income. All right, to enforce his agenda 2030, which is for you to own nothing and be happy, where he wants to own everything. All right, and this is what's going to cause, this man, all right, the men of the world, going about destroying houses with a sword, running up like gangbusters, running up like the SWAT, taking everything and ravaging everything. All right, that's what this economic crisis is going to lead to, and then a famine is only on top of it, is only going to make it worse. All right, and Yahweh Shemiah Shai has always plagued nations, all right, with famines when he was, angry, all right, that showed his anger, all right. So this economic collapse is ushering in a famine, all right, ushering in chaos, and it's all planned by the wicked elite, all right. Just as in the times of Rome, 70 A.D. What did they do? All right, what did they do? They allowed, all right, and I'm gonna get to this a little bit later, too, Lord willing. They allowed for Israelites to go and keep the Passover when they were at war, trying to take over that temple. All right, when they eventually succeeded, but they allowed the Israelites to go in there, keep the Passover. But then when they try to get out, all right, they didn't let them. All right, so that's pretty much what they're doing today. How they plan to set up these 15-minute cities, those smart cities. All right, as it says back in 2nd Esdras 15, that man should desire to go into a city and not be able to. All right, yeah, there's going to be a pushback, but when you got the military forces, all right, how many do you really think you could stand up against the sword? All right, we need salvation. This is Lamentations 4:9. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away stricken. Saki. When I start at 8, their visage is blacker than a coal. Who's this talking about? The Israelites. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaveth to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. All right. A lot of you 2/3 is going to come back to looking like this. All right. Face sunken in. Your body eating itself. They that be slain with the sword are better than they that be slain with hunger. For these pine away, stricken for the want of fruits of the field. All right. And they're not going to be available. All right. As it says, it has examples of previous times where people were forced, and went to go eat their own children. All right. I believe you can find that in the book of Ezekiel. All right. The story of the woman, the two wicked women who planned to eat their own children. One of the woman's child one night, and the other woman the night for the next day. All right, you gonna have that same cannibalism going on today. All right, and you know who's gonna be the first ones to do that? All right, Esau Edom is. You already know it because they have that they always have been cannibals. All right, as you could read it about in Micah. All right, it's Deuteronomy 30:7. So we're gonna see the switch. This ain't even always gonna affect. This ain't only gonna affect Israel. It's gonna affect these other nations too. And the Lord, Yahweh thy power, will put all these curses upon thy enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Yeah, you other nations that afflicted the Israelites. All right, you're gonna have all these curses plagued onto you. Captivity. All right. You know, groaning, groping at noonday. Okay, you're gonna be starved out too. All right. Second Esdras 9:20. So I considered the world, and behold, there was peril because of the devices that were come into it. All right. And what's the main device each camp should be teaching about is that MOTB. This is all okay. With the distress that's going on in the world. All right, is all part of Esau's trap. All right, Esau's setting up his new infrastructure as we speak. He's planning to get you in a state of all-out chaos so he could usher in his NWO, which is the RFID CHIP. All right, being implanted or put into your right hand or your forehead. All right, to make you a part, you know, of his new system, so he could track everything that you do, think, say, all right, buy, sell, eat, all right. It's making you a biohackable device. Okay, so this is going to be Second Esdras 15:10. And it's going to work for some people. For the weak are going to flee to Egypt in a time of need. Woe unto those who go to Egypt for help. This is Second Esdras 15:10. Behold, my people is led as a flock to the slaughter. I will not suffer them to dwell in the land of Egypt. All right. All of Israel ain't gonna suffer. All right. Yahweh Bashem Rashai is gonna take us out. All right. Going back. All right. Into the times of 70 AD. All right. Where Rome allowed Israelites to make that journey into Jerusalem for the Passover. But what were they doing? They were leading them as a flock to the slaughter. All right. They trapped them into that walled city. All right. And pretty much starved them out. All right. And think people weren't doing crazy stuff back then. Think about how much more in these days, which is a time like no other, as said in Daniel. I'll make sure my computer got enough battery. 2 Peter 3 and verse 10, or 3 and 9. Nope. Sorry, it was 3 and 10. 2 Peter 3 and 10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. All right. A thief in the night. A time of, and you go into that word night, in Greek it's nukes, time of moral decay. All right. in the which the heavens shall pass away with great noise, and elements shall melt with fervent heat, and earth also, and the earth also, and the works that are therein shall be burnt up. Right? I probably should have grabbed First Thessalonians 5. That might have went a little bit better because these people not gonna see it. They don't see it. All right, but hey, call low Yahweh Shem He gave us the eyesight to see it. He gave us the ability, all right, to withstand. Lord willing, we are the elect to withstand that day. All right. Second Ezra 6:22, and suddenly, and this is that thief in the night. All right. It's gonna be a surprise when those missiles hit, but it's gonna be a surprise when you can't get no food in the stores. All right. When that inflation goes so high, whatever you work for going into a loaf of bread. Right, as we read. And suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty, and the trumpet shall give a sound, which when every man heareth, they shall be afraid, suddenly afraid. So people ain't gonna get it until it's too late. People ain't gonna get it until it's too late. But the elect is gonna be prepared. Yahweh Shem Yahshua is gonna give us that sound mind, and we're gonna have faith that He will deliver us. I'll get Proverbs 24 real quick. Oh, it's 24. Maybe it was down a little bit. Yeah, Proverbs. Yep, Proverbs 22 and 3. A prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. All right, you 2/3 are going to be punished for not taking heed to the words of His gospel. All right, not taking heed to that sound of the trumpet, and then when you come running, all right, when you hear when you see the trumpet, when you see that warning that we was talking about, Yahweh Shem Yahshua is going to take you out. Guess what? The blood's off our hands. Blood's off the prophet's hands. Jeremiah 30:7. Alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's going to be saved out of it? The elect. The elect is going to receive salvation, deliverance from famine. All right, the devil coming down with great wrath. All right, from an economic collapse. All right, why? Because we're not completely invested in this world. All right, money ain't everything. All right, and Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is. All right, we've invested and continue to invest into this gospel. All right, because this
like $480.
So yeah, this truth's gonna be our salvation. So with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua Bashim Rakakwadash. Lord willing, this has been an edifying lesson. I want to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Ball Ball. Shalom.